One of the companies that I had called on and having a conversation with the owner, he's like, do you represent a big group or individual? We're going through everything, and turns out his motivation is just basically boredom. He built the company over the last like 27 years. He's still fairly young. He's in his like early 50s. And it turned out through the conversation that he's like, well, it's not really that I'm need to sell. He goes, I'm just bored. And so he was actually excited by the fact that I was on an acquisition company. And we started to talk more about that. And so he actually expressed interest in possibly joining that. And in my organization chart, I do have a position for industry vertical expert to kind of oversee all the businesses in that vertical. And I mean, it happened sooner than I was expecting. This is like the, second or third company that I was talking to, but I was like, is this like a perfect situation that this guy's falling into place? And then what should I be concerned about is really what the question is. Like, what sort of things should I be considering with this potential partnership?
Yeah, good question. So what's the business again?
It's commercial electric.
Cool. And do you have any experience in the sector or
Zero.
nothing at all? Cool. Good stuff. What's the size of the business?
They're doing just over 10 million in revenue, and EBITDA is 3.1.
Nice. Okay, so that's a significant amount. What he told you that he wants, like, here's the thing. In the end of the day, it comes down to what he wants and what you want, right? So in finding out if there's a win-win. So what did he tell you? What he's looking for?
He's just looking for sort of something more, like a new challenge. And I had expressed, the fact that where my interests and my personality type, and obviously from all the different businesses that I've looked in the same vertical, I can kind of see where some companies with low profit margins will probably or don't really have good systems. They rely more on the owner. And then ones that have got higher returns, they've got better systems in place. So we talked a lot about that, and that's something that he actually excelled at. And we talked about his local competition, and he's like, there's 4 or 5 competitors that were all bidding on the same work. And so we started talking about we'd actually go target them and buy them up and then own the entire city that this is.
Where is it? Which city? Which country?
It's in the state of New York. They cover New York City and several counties in, I guess, the Northeast.
Where you're based?
I'm actually in Ontario, Canada, just outside of Toronto.
Cool. Yeah. And looking at business in New York. Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting, man. It's all about finding a win-win here in the end of the day. If you want to stay, things to be worried about, man. It's like any business partnership. I don't know if you or anyone else you had partners in the past. I mean, having a business partner is like getting married. I was never married, but I had a lot of business partners, and I think it's as difficult as it is to get married, pretty much, right? It's like someone you're gonna be with and talk to on a regular basis, and have ups and downs, and some of them it's gonna work great with, some of them it's not. So I think the biggest thing that I learned from partners that I had literally dozens of partners in the last 15 years now almost. The biggest lesson I think I learned is just to talk about the downside from day one. Like, talk about what would that look like if it's not going to work out, and put it on paper. And everything else, just hope for the best,
Yeah.
Literally, because in the end of the day, I really believe, like, especially if it's just someone you just met, like, you're only going to know about a person after, my personal belief is that you only really know a person after you know him for like at least 2 years of hanging out closely to each other, right? Otherwise, it's just assumption and words. And because in the end of the day, you're really going to know about someone after you hang out a lot with him, and you see him in a crisis. You see him how he's handling things at bad times. Because when everything works well, it's easy.
Yeah, so that's so true. Yeah,
and it sounds exciting, man. So if you want to do a roll-up, man, message me. I think for all of you guys, for those of you guys who want to buy a company and then do a roll-up, message me if you want me to partner with you on that. I'd love to. I'd be open to jump on calls with you guys as well, because that's an exciting opportunity, especially sectors like that are boring and a lot of companies out there. Interesting. Super
Yeah.
interesting, man.
Yeah. Because I've got another one in the exact same vertical in North Carolina. So I've got a meeting with the owner this afternoon to go over some things there. So, I'm kind of positioning this as.
I would do this, man. If I were you, I would be like, cool, let's do a roll up. Let's register a new company. Let's do 50-50 on the new entity.
Yeah.
And run with it.
Yeah. And he plays
And
his strengths and I play mine.
And you can potentially include the existing company as the cash flow is part of it.
It is actually in my proposal that I've got for him. It's like he has to transfer his company into the holdings.
There you go.
Okay,
Easy.
excellent. All right, right on. Thanks.
Go get them, man. Fascinating. I love it. Good luck. Good job, man.